Welcome back to The Independent. Men are often dealt a lesser hand with paternity. If the child isn't yours, you can still be on the hook even if you've been fornicating with a less than honest partner. So what happens when the fruit of your loins has actually fallen from someone else's tree? Well, let's ask Carnell Smith. He's the founder of U.S. Citizens Against Paternity Fraud. He's not only the president, he's also a member. Welcome, Carnell.
Hi, thanks for the invite.
So, Carnell, tell me your story. How did you start this organization?
Well, I started the organization because I found out after supporting a very dear child for 11 years, I found out that her mother had lied to me and that her mother's other boyfriend was the actual father. And after appealing this all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, I found out the courts were not interested in the truth, and I felt that was a travesty.
So even though you were proven to be biologically not related to this beautiful child for no fault of her own, certainly, you still were on the hook to pay for child support.
Absolutely. In fact, the mother asked the court to put me in jail because once I had 3 DNA tests proving that I had not caused her pregnancy, I demanded to be set free since she was not going to allow me to have a relationship with her daughter.
And what is your relationship with her today?
Actually, none. Her mother said that if I refused to pay under the pay or go to jail court order, that I could not see her daughter. And for me to remain in a situation where she could put me in jail at loss of liberty, property, there was no way I would agree to those conditions.
That's really sad.
Carnell, most Americans don't realize that in cases like this, DNA evidence is not enough to get you off the hook, or at least in many cases. Can you explain a little bit through your organization the types of cases where DNA does not factor in?
Absolutely. In fact, for at least a couple of categories of men, for the single men, what happens if the guy, he goes to the hospital, he's told that a baby is his, and that he should sign the paper because he wants a baby to have him as the father. And just by signing that document, it's enough to establish a court order for child support. But if he later finds out he's not the father, the truth is not enough to set him free.
And that's actually a program through hospitals called, I think, the Parenthood Opportunity Program, where the hospitals are incentivized to get them to sign that. Yes. Because they want welfare to be paid for by the father. You can't get a passport in America if you owe $2,500 in child support. What are some other issues like that?
Well, some of the other issues for men and teen boys is their loss of liberty, because you can be jailed for either inability to pay or refusal to pay once you know you're not the father, loss of driver's license, loss of business license. If you're an attorney, you could actually run your risk of being disbarred because you're supposed to be an example of the bar. I mean, there are so many factors that we've asked the question, why not make judgments based on truth established by facts rather than opinion?
Well, Carnell, since your situation, have there been any positive developments in terms of reform and passing new laws to make the system more fair?
Absolutely, yes, there have. Even though I was unsuccessful in taking the issue to the U.S. Supreme Court, which would have allowed for a bright line decision that could have been used by all states, I was simultaneously lobbying for laws here in Georgia. And after getting over 99% support from both houses of representatives and the governor signed the law, I ended up winning my case as the first guy using that law. So Georgia, Ohio, Wyoming, and Florida, and several other states that I've been involved with have successfully passed laws.
And do you think paternity tests should be mandatory in delivery rooms? That kind of creeps me out, but you're for that, aren't you?
Well, it would actually mean they would actually swab the mouth of the baby and the mother in the delivery room so that then you could match up the DNA of the child with the alleged father. And that could be done even for men who are the military who are deployed. And in many cases, you're not going to get the father to be there just because he has a traveling occupation, or in the case of military, he's simply not available at the time of delivery.
All right, Carnell Smith, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming up next.